You want to hot take me again?
Hot take alert coming in.
The narrative with AI is not controlled by you anymore. Direct response is becoming branding. It's becoming the first step in the discovery funnel, and it's not the conversion point anymore like it used to be. ChatGPT may have been first, but Google is going to win.
Hot take, we're putting a stake in the ground. Google's going to win. One of the largest corporations in the world is going to beat ChatGPT. Welcome to the podcast. We have a fun episode. It's just going to be John and I today. And what we want to talk about is SEO in 2025. Every few years, somebody says SEO is dead. We've been hearing that for probably over a decade, but it's not dead. It's just different. We realized earlier this year that the way people find and evaluate law firms has completely shifted. And we can't think about SEO the same way we did even 12 months ago. So today, we want to talk about how our SEO offering has evolved, what we've changed, why it matters, and what we've learned along the way.
And what you should do if you're listening and you're still doing the same things that you were doing 6 months ago, 12 months ago. Man, there's just a lot of opportunity to improve, take advantage of the way that people are now identifying what law firm they should be hiring.
Let's start with what changed. SEO used to be about ranking on Google, the journey from discovery to conversion with a pretty direct path. And now it feels it's all about reputation and perception. When did it click for you, John, that this wasn't just another Google update, but there was a full shift on how search works?
Once it started really hitting the mainstream media, to be honest, right? When you're starting to see news stories on your morning national news that OpenAI has made an update and people are now using ChatGPT to do things that were never imaginable before, we knew that this was something that was completely different, right? ChatGPT came out, hasn't even been 2 years, and the advancements that we've seen over that 18 to 24 month period are astronomical. Like we went from people with like 7 fingers in images and like text that didn't make sense and suggestions about glue on pizza.
It was kind of like a party trick when it first came out.
Yeah, right? Like it was like asking a question of Google, but a little bit deeper, with less trust, right? It definitely was a joke.
I used it to like rewrite this email.
Yeah, right? And you were lucky if you got something that like wasn't going to embarrass you. It definitely wasn't something that could be utilized and trusted without additional verification. And now here we are, less than 2 years later, and things are very, very different. Your question about like, when did it really click? Well, the big click for me happened when we had our clients start asking what they can do to optimize for it, not because they were hearing the buzzwords, but because they were hearing real people tell them when they asked, hey, how did you hear about us? Or where did you get our number? And they were saying, oh, I looked at Perplexity or ChatGPT recommended you. Then it's real, right? It's not just that party trick anymore.
Yeah, it's interesting too. I will harp on this a lot. I believe the biggest shift has happened, not only because the tools have gotten better, but ChatGPT was the first of the game. But now that Google's like really good, they've kind of pulled in a lot more widespread adoption because they're forcing it in front of their entire user base. Where ChatGPT, you still had to go specifically to that site. It was a new experience or motion for people to do who had never used the tool. But everyone knows how to use Google. It's built into your iPhones as the default search. Pretty much any cell phone nowadays is the default search. So it kind of really pushed it to the forefront.
We're definitely in an interesting spot with AI because ChatGPT was pretty much the first widely adopted LLM. And then we started seeing like all these other things happen in the AI space. And everybody knew that Google was going to do something. Like they've been talking about machine learning and AI for a long time, but it hadn't manifested to the mainstream. Gemini existed as this sort of side project that they had. And when AI overviews first came out, or search generative experience, whatever you want to call it, that was Google saying, hey, we're acknowledging that this is actually a thing, right? We're baking it into our search results. It eventually winds up, effectively replacing featured snippets, right? Featured snippets being the previous answer that used to show up at the top of the search result page, different font. When someone would ask a query, now we've got these AI overviews on over 60% of searches. It's effectively Gemini, right? They're taking this thing that they did on the side and now saying, well, it's not just for developers anymore. It's not that party trick. this is the future of search. So you've got AI overviews, you've got AI mode, and you've got people who just use Gemini as like their new homepage, right? The Gemini app is very, very commonly used, right? I see people who I would not think using AI, using Gemini, not using ChatGPT, right? I'll be in the airport and I'll see like older people who are on their phones, like talking to Gemini. We're actually on their phones talking to Gemini too. It's a very interesting time we're in.
I'm a big Gemini user. I will caveat that now over ChatGPT. And it's interesting because they've even made the jump now where a prompt me goes, do you want your personalized Gemini experience or the regular one? So what that's doing is remembering all my chats, building a profile, and giving me more customized results. This is just based on Gemini, but as it pulls in more and more profile data about me, it's just going to get better and better because Google has access to all that today. All my search history from forever ago to really personalize the results moving forward. It's going to be a game changer once they figure all that out.
I think they've already figured it out, right? This is why, I mean, we talked about this morning, Mark. This is why Google's going to win, right? ChatGPT may have been first, but Google is going to win.
Hot take, we're putting a stake in the ground. Google's going to win. One of the largest corporations in the world is going to beat ChatGPT.
It's coming into my personal life, right? I have a Nest security system and I had the $10 a month subscription and I've got camera in the front of the house and the back of my house. And Nest sent me a push notification and an email. They're like, Nest Aware is going away. It's now being baked into Google's new home premium offering. So now I'm paying $20 a month and I'm getting my Nest service and my cloud recordings like I was getting before, but I'm also getting Gemini Pro. And I'm also getting 1 terabyte of storage in my Google One. And they've bundled these offerings and Gemini is just now part of the experience. It's going to be rolling out on everybody's Google Homes at the beginning of 2026.
That's how they got me. I needed more storage and they're like, just upgrade. We'll throw in all this extra storage and Gemini Pro. And I was like, you got me.
You think all that data is not getting processed by them? I haven't tried, but I could probably open Gemini and ask it to pull up a picture of what's going on outside my house right now on my Nest Cam.
I'll drop it later for the editors to put in here. But leading up to this, I was playing with the new image stuff. And I said, put John and Mark at a Coldplay concert. And it's like you and I like having the best time of our life at a Coldplay concert. I sent it the thumbnail that we use for our profiles and it just perfectly did it.
Gemini is much better at that than ChatGPT is, right? You'll still get like the weird figures and then you get like I was playing with Sora yesterday and you'll get them blocking the ability to put real people in things unless you go through their Cameo process where it like AI generates your face within your specific Sora instance. But Gemini, you can like literally upload a photo into it and then just ask it to do something with the photo and it just comes to life. It's like magic right in front of your eyes.
It's getting good. All right, let's get into the parts of the things that we're actually changing on the SEO side. One of the biggest changes we made was adding branded pages to almost every client site. For anyone not familiar, what was the thinking behind that? And talk about how we started using AI itself to find the weak spots.
A branded page is just a page about your brand that you control, right? The narrative with AI is not controlled by you anymore. You can do things to influence it, but previously like SEO would lead to your website, right? And someone would click on your website and you have 100% control of that narrative. With AI, they could be pulling things from all over the place that you're aware of or that you're not aware of. What we started doing was when we would run prompts and our clients weren't showing up for certain prompts.
Give me an example of a prompt we would search for this. I know we've done this exercise a bunch, so.
Who's the best car accident lawyer in X state and why, right? That's just something that someone who gets in an accident may search. Or who gets the best results for car accidents, settlements in this city. There's a lot of different things that people search. That's a whole separate conversation about like the changing landscape of like the queries that people are making. But when you run those searches, inevitably it's going to provide some sort of generalized information about choosing a lawyer and like taking it upon yourself and don't rely on everything that we're saying here. We can't give legal advice. And then it actually gives you firms that you should potentially call. If a client of ours didn't show up for one of those terms, we would then just try and reverse engineer the response and just ask, why didn't you include this firm in your response? And inevitably that gives you the playbook on what is missing in the world's understanding of your brand that you need to fill that gap. The bigger a brand you are, the more likely you can influence these signals than a smaller brand. Here's an example. Let's talk about the branded pages, right? If someone runs a prompt and doesn't show up. And the reason why ChatGPT says they're not showing up is because there's a lot of bad reviews about clients or former clients say that communication is not great, or the end result is not what I expected, or they don't answer the phone when I call, or they pawn me off on a paralegal, right? We can come up with all these different specific things that it may say because it's pulling some random review from Reddit from 2015, which that is not hyperbolic in any way. That is actually something that we saw happening. Someone just wrote a nice post on Reddit, got a bunch of up likes, up votes, and wound up getting pulled into the LLM. So you create a page on your site. We just coined it this branded page, and it's around a specific concept and how your firm does that concept really well. And it's not just writing about how you do it really well, it's showing specific examples of how you've done it really well. And in the case of communication, that's an easy one. If you're a big brand, right? Again, going back to the bigger you are, the more easy it is to influence these signals. You're going to go into your Google business profiles and you're just going to pull out examples of reviews that talk about how amazing your communication is. And you're going to drown out the noise with the things that are in your control that you're going to try and let everybody else know about, both humans and AI.
You can pull it from your Google reviews, positive ones. If you have specific sound bites or clips from testimonials, you can take that piece out of that video testimonial. Anywhere where you have positive reviews, you can accumulate them on one page and try to control the narrative as much as possible to kind of push it front and center.
Yeah, and write about it, right? Create a video, right? This is how much we value communication, and have one of the attorneys at the firm or the office manager, have them talk about how communication works at the firm. Start putting questions on that page about how your firm handles different aspects of communication. And then back that up with, like you said, testimonials, reviews, specific examples. If you don't have a review, try to create the narrative and describe situations without giving away confidential information.
Real quick before we move on to the next topic, what I want to bring up is when we do this analysis and we say, hey, why didn't we show up? This is a unique response for every firm or challenge we have to deal with. So every tactic is going to be different based on that response. And part of it could be, John's example, bad communication. If your firm sucks at communication, you actually need to fix that issue, because putting up a brand page is not going to fix it.
You actually have to do the thing, right? That's been the biggest SEO evolution of this year, has been you can't just say you do the thing without actually doing the thing and backing it up and presenting it outwardly in the right way. Marketing SEO has gone back to just doing marketing really well and then figuring out the right way to technically showcase that on your website.
Moving on to the next one. So traffic patterns are changing, but conversions are going up. Let's talk about how we've shifted to focus on what happens after someone lands on the site. I know we've stopped defaulting to free consultation buttons, to some other strategies. Why?
So the era of direct response is at its tail end.
Hot take.
Direct response heavily relies on people taking immediate action, right? You're giving them urgency and you need to take action right now, get your free consultation, call us, here's all the proof, and you got all that in a 30-second commercial.
Still works incredibly well for e-commerce.
It does. However, Marc, don't tell me that you don't do this, right? If you get an Instagram ad for a new mattress cover or a cup of coffee or something, you're not just going and buying it right away. You're going and you're Googling and see what other people actually say about it.
It's 50-50. There's a price threshold. If it's under $100 and I want it, and it has buy with Apple Pay, I almost get it immediately.
That's where you and I differ.
Yes. But then for larger things, I do stop and do research on everything else. See if they have a YouTube page, watch some videos on it, watch some reviews about people talking about it. I do go down the rabbit hole of doing additional research. That is kind of the new modern buying pattern for consumers.
Direct response is becoming branding. It's becoming the first step in the discovery funnel, and it's not the conversion point anymore like it used to be. So the channels like TV, radio, whereas people traditionally used to call the vanity number that was on that ad, they're now hearing it. They may need you right now, they may not, but when they do, they'll get that recognition and then they'll just start Googling that firm. You may capture that through a branded paid search ad. A competitor or lead generator might steal that branded search click. They may go to ChatGPT and ask for the best car accident lawyers and then recognize that one of the 5 that showed up, they've heard somewhere else on one of these TV commercials. There was a stat that you and I were talking about that you brought up a couple days ago. I think the audience would love to hear that. I don't remember what it was, something about seeing something, a brand 7 times.
Oh, so yes, there's a study. It's called the Zero Moment of Truth that Google did a couple of years ago. And it is the amount of marketing you need to do. So when that moment of truth, someone's making a buying decision, who pops to their mind of who they want to purchase from? Think about, these are like instant reactions where you don't double think the purchase. So like a Nike or a big brand where it's a known commodity that you're like, or an Apple product, you're absolutely going to buy this because you know it's the decision you want to make. They broke it down. It's a lot more complex than this from the simplest perspective. It's called the 7-11-4 framework. So for you to be a household name in that person's brain, live rent-free, they need to have consumed 7 hours of content across 11 different touch points on 4 different mediums or platforms for you to really, for them to feel like they know you. For them to be sad if you died and they saw it in the news like we do for movie stars and celebrities. When I saw that and I read the research, just drove home to me the amount of messaging and touch points you need to do over the lifespan of brand marketing for them to, without a doubt, think of your firm first. If they are injured or a loved one is injured, that without a doubt in their mind, they're calling you.
That's really important. But what's not taken into account there is any of the negative sentiment that someone might actually come across that could completely kibosh any of the positive brand sentiment that was earned across those touch points. And that makes marketing exponentially harder because one bad thing that's out there, if you don't combat it appropriately, can take all of the positive brand equity and just squash it instantaneously. So now I'm actually going to answer the question that you asked me in the first place before we went off on this tangent, which is about changing and focusing more on the clicks and the traffic that you're actually getting and how that changes conversion.
More on conversion, less on total traffic numbers.
Traffic has always been this like vanity metric that people point to on both sides of the equation, right? The agencies themselves or the marketers as well as the firms, because if you don't understand the impact of that metric, it's the easiest metric to go to, right? There's so many other factors that come into account between the traffic and that turning into a lead and then that lead turning into a case. That let's just look at traffic. So then you get the marketers who will focus on like, how can I boost traffic through like random pages about celebrities or, stuff that's trending in the news that has nothing to do with actually generating a case. You got to get that noise out and focus on, of the convertible traffic, what's the best route for you to get that person from visitor to lead and eventually claimant. And because traffic is just at a macro level diminishing holistically, right? AI, we know, is just eating up traffic.
For those who don't know, the reason AI is eating up traffic is AI's job is to serve the answer immediately to the person without having to have them click on anything.
Yeah, the only click comes through the citation or the source of the answer that AI actually showed you.
This is usually very top of funnel traffic and even mid-level funnel, not always bottom of funnel traffic yet, but a lot of the top of funnel traffic is going to a clickless environment in the AI world.
Right. So when you actually do get a click, those clicks are truly more valuable than the clicks that you were getting previously because they took the deliberate effort to get there. We're not fully at that point yet. I think it'll be another 6 to 12 months before like AI becomes a de facto first stop. And whether that's within someone going to Gemini or just going to google.com and it pops up AI mode or something similar, that is the direction that we're moving. And that traffic is more and more valuable.
Hot take alert. Right when that happens is when they'll start introducing more and more ads into the platform as a way to monetize that, getting people to your site at that point.
Yes, I do not disagree with you. It's like Facebook, right? You go back 15, 20 years and like ads were not rampant through Facebook. A lot of the ads were on that like right-hand sidebar. And as soon as like they won the social media game, they were like, that's it. We've got mass adoption. Now we got to monetize it. And they moved from growth to value. And it's all about their shareholders, right? How much money can they make off of every visitor? And in turn, how do we keep them in our ecosystem and continue gathering? It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, gathering more data about the people who are on our search results so we can serve them more tailored ads so that we can get people to pay more because we're making our customers, Google's customers, money.
All right. Another big shift for us started last year, but especially this year, was starting the use of video. What's the connection between video, SEO, and how AI evaluates a firm?
Video is extremely important. We know this for a number of reasons. First up, YouTube is I think the second most visited search engine on the internet behind Google.
That is correct.
People love consuming video. It's something that they can see. It's something they can listen to. It's something they can visually go through and get to the point of what they want to. People watching this, right? They're watching video. It happens for a reason. So video content from a user perspective is the best way that users can consume a concept. In addition, Google owns YouTube, right? That is not something that is hidden in any way. They acquired YouTube, and YouTube is another method for them to monetize users who are coming into their ecosystem. It's also another place for them to get data about users and what they're searching and what they're researching. Google knows what's in every video, right? It's not just the transcripts, but the transcripts are important, but Google knows what's in every video. It has visual recognition, it listens to it, it understands it. So it believes that a video is going to be important in what it is summarizing in an AI response. It is going to potentially include that video big, bright, and center directly in the response that it's giving you within Gemini or within ChatGPT. Gemini more likely will serve it because Google owns YouTube and they don't have to go out and query some third-party API to go grab that data back in. They literally own the first and the second most visited search engines on the internet, so they have access to all this data, both Google's regular search index and the video index. We've also seen video from a traditional SEO standpoint help pages rank better. So we'll do video shoots, as you know, Marc, where we'll plan these shoots out, and it's not just like us sitting down with an attorney and tell me about yourself and how'd you become a lawyer. No, that stuff is good, but we're creating specific strategies around pairing a video with a certain page and having like the lawyer talk through something that is very specific. It'll be a 60-second video or a 90-second video. That video on the page will help the page rank better. That transcript on the page gives you unique copy. This is something that is sort of the next step in content creation, right? Social media, like Twitter was huge. Now people are now heavily relying on Reels and TikToks. Visual content is what people want, and sometimes it's just a better way to get concepts and explain those concepts.
To bring this home to the audience. So for example, if I'm in a car accident and I'm having issues with my insurance company and I have a very specific query, it pulls up a lawyer's page that I want to understand, how do I hire a lawyer when I've been in a car accident to pay for my medical bills? That article will get surfaced and I probably will read it and skim it. But if there's a video on there and then I see the lawyer talking about it, explaining it to me so that I fully understand it, I'm like, oh, I trust this person. He knows what he's talking about. And this is a person I relate to that I want to work with to represent me and my claim. It just bridges that gap way better than any written piece of content ever would versus every other lawyer that has that same page out on the internet.
Yeah, I mean, that's the user side of it, right? Like absolutely consuming video content is better. It's a better user experience.
It goes back to our last point as well. It's videos helping us rank better from an SEO perspective. So it's completely changed our strategy. The video is ranking in YouTube very well for people searching on YouTube. It's ranking, the individual page is ranking well in the search results. The video is ranking in the search results. And then when we get that click, it is helping us convert even more than before because those clicks are more valuable per our last conversation.
Absolutely. And the creation of that video content gives you the ability to create more content from that content. We've seen like our clients take the longer form videos and cut them up into like social posts, social reels, quote cards. Video is extremely important. If you're not doing video, you need to be doing video. You need to be deliberately thinking about how you're going to be producing video because it absolutely is a factor, not only in ranking, but in conversion.
Leading into video, a little of a pivot, but very related. We've also leaned heavily into storytelling and authority pages. What's the goal here?
Yeah, it's very similar to just the whole holistic video strategy that we just spoke about, but it's putting it all together, right? It's no longer existing in a vacuum. It's taking that video and saying, okay, this video that we're creating is a story. We are telling a story about a concept, and we've got real people that relate to specific practice areas that we do at our firm. We're going to talk about the specific geographies that this happened in. We're going to talk about everything that relates to this case from start to finish. So you're encompassing the entire client experience and what someone could potentially experience if they become a client into one encapsulated piece of content that they can consume either visually and audibly through the video. They can read it. We've got pictures. It's like just a huge hub for the portrayal of a parallel experience that someone else who may be just like you has went through, that you can expect your experience to be similar to.
I think it does a really good job converting people. And the fact of the matter is, it just takes way more work to get all that information from the law firms to produce it. I would say a big gap we had to bridge over the past year as SEO has changed was firms we work with can no longer hire us and throw stuff over the fence and expect us to do all the work without having to be involved. They're very much working side by side with us day in, day out, getting us the information based on all the lawyers in those particular areas, specific accident information, as detailed information we can get about that particular client, the lawyer that did it, the paralegal that did the work. They're getting very involved in the content creation process, getting us all this information to help tell the story and build all the unique authority points around that particular case or practice area page we're writing.
I really like this topic. I think it's extremely important that firms that want to take advantage of this changing landscape of SEO, AI, owned visibility. I'm not going to call it AEO, GEO, or any of that. The closest I'll get is SEO plus, if we're going to use an acronym. You have to understand what you're getting yourself into if you are investing in this channel. It is no longer I'm going to hire an agency and expect them to just deliver. It doesn't work that way anymore. And anyone who is telling you that it is false. They will find holes in the dam and they will take advantage of those holes until they get plugged by Google or one of these AI systems. And then they're just going to try and whack-a-mole and find another hole. It's not a sustainable strategy. It's not the way that we're moving. Those holes are getting plugged faster and faster as Google updates happen more and more. AI models get more and more sophisticated. It's not single lane anymore. What is happening is SEO has become the evolution of now taking all of these things that actually happened and turning them into something digital that can be consumed by either AI or by search. That's a big, big difference, right? You had to have done great stuff in order for us to be able to write about that great stuff. Unless you're just going to flat out lie, right? But yeah, I don't think that's anyone's strategy. The idea is just like the brand pages that we spoke about. If you have a challenge, right? Like if it's saying communication is an issue, you actually have to have solved that problem in order to write about it. Your SEOs can't just write about it.
All the law firms from the SEO in the past are screaming, hey, I'm the best lawyer. Now AI is saying, prove it. The proof is in the pudding of the actual results you've gotten for those people in your city, in those practice areas, and show the evidence of that to the AI to get surfaced.
You want to hot take me again?
Hot take alert coming in.
The bad SEOs and the bad agencies in this space are the ones who are still just doing that old garbage and telling people it's just still going to work. Their new manipulative way is they're going to find spammy pages that were created all over the internet that they can buy a placement on that says best lawyers in X, and they're just going to place a link placement. It will not work long term. And you're actually setting yourself up to be perceived by AI as a law firm that is placing basically false listings in places. Like, we're not dealing with humans anymore. We're not really dealing with machine learning in the way that we thought Google search worked in the past. We're dealing with a sophisticated system that in real time understands the context of what's happening out there on the internet and not looking at things in isolation. A link is not just a link. The context of that link on the website that it's on, the other firms or other listings that are on it, is it known as a place that accepts paid listings? Like, there's so much that goes into it. It's actually going to become harder to plug the holes than it is going to be to just work with your agency and give them the information about how great work you're doing at the firm and allowing them to turn that into content in written form, audio form, video form. Let them help you. Don't just say, hey, go do it. I'm going to pay you X amount of dollars and go figure it out. It will not work.
Hot take. I agree. All right. Another big evolution was how we structure content. The way we build pages looks completely different. Why are keeping pages shorter, but building more of them part of our strategy moving forward?
Yeah. So the way that we currently understand how these AI systems work is largely based on how they consume content. And I'm sure people have heard in the news about all these big energy sources that are being put all over the world to power all the AI systems that we use.
Pretty sure Microsoft just bought a nuclear plant for their AI data center.
It is immense, because so much processing is getting done in real time.
Just a quick caveat, hot take. If you think turn the lights off is going to save the world,
Just prompt less.
the data centers are pulling the most amount of power of human history for AI.
If a crawler from AI could come to your site and get the answer immediately and not have to process the rest of the page, that is going to be more cost efficient. At the end of the day, these AI companies are companies, they are businesses. And if across billions or trillions of crawls that they're doing probably every hour, if they can save a little fraction of money, that all adds up for them. This is why I believe they don't process JavaScript. Like, that is not a thing that people can just ignore. What the crawlers do is they take the raw HTML of your page.
That's why the crawlers don't process JavaScript, but AI might be.
It's not doing it yet. And the amount of computing power that would take.
I've seen some hot takes coming out on LinkedIn, people saying that it is starting to. It is just an energy resource.
That's all it is. It's the reason why they don't do it is because it's not efficient to do it, right? To take this back to your question, the idea is to give them what they need so they can grab it and go away.
Yep. And what is the term we use internally to call that piece of content when we break it up like that?
Content chunking.
Content chunking. Yes.
The idea is to serve the answer to the intent in a as easy to consume way as possible. So you're surrounding it with structured data or schema, you're presenting it at the top of the page, you're putting it in a format like a bulleted list or a table or in a couple of sentences, and you're allowing AI to come in, grab it, and leave. And that's it. Because previously, we know search surfaced entities, right? A business in the local pack, a web page in the 10 blue links. That's not what AI is looking for. It's not ranking your pages anymore. It's taking pieces of your content and citing it as a source. It's a completely different thing. And this is why links have kind of gone away. The citations are just pulling people directly to where did that information come from in AI. It's very different than driving someone actually to like the homepage of a website.
This is going to be an interesting one. All right, let's talk about tracking, because it's one thing to do all this. It's another to measure it all. What are we doing now that we couldn't measure before?
The easiest thing to implement, and one that we did as soon as we realized this was happening, was measure the traffic that was actually hitting the website coming from all the LLMs.
Directly from an LLM.
Yeah, when you click on a link in an LLM, you'll see it adds like a little UTM that references where it came from. You just add that into a filter on Google Analytics 4. As much as I don't like GA4, it captures what we need it to. And you can then tell the volume of traffic that's coming in. You can tell the pages that traffic is coming into. You can't tell what people prompted, but you at least know the pages that are winding up not only getting citations, but getting clicks into those citations and driving traffic to your site, which, going back to our conversation earlier about conversion optimization, these are the pages that you need to double down on your conversion optimization and make sure that you're getting as much value out of those visitors as you can.
How does this data help our clients make better decisions on what they're doing?
It's an interesting question. Okay. I don't think it helps our clients make better decisions right now. I think what it does is it opens Pandora's box and they start seeing like, oh, I'm getting traffic from these LLMs. What do I do with this? If you don't actually tie that to a lead and to a case, it gets much more complex than just tracking it in GA4. It now opens up to them asking like, okay, well, we got X amount of traffic from ChatGPT. What did that do for me? Right? You're now reporting this to me separately from organic Google traffic. Did I get a lead from it? Did I get a case from it? Was that case more or less valuable than a case I would have gotten from SEO? So tying very simply those UTMs into your intake platform, into your case management system, and doing the same type of analysis that you would do from any other marketing channel. That's what it's doing. It's bringing AI into the conversation with all the other marketing channels. Once it delivers cases, now you got to know, what do you do with it? Is it efficient for us to try and improve that visibility? Is it not? How are the ways that we can double down on the things that are working? It's the same questions you would ask about any other marketing channel. This is sort of that inflection point, right? The traffic is becoming somewhat meaningful. It's eating into Google traffic. The visitors are coming. What's going on with that traffic?
So from an SEO perspective, talk to me about how we should look at SEO metrics moving forward in this new world. For example, as we see impressions going up and clicks going down, how do we interpret this? If I'm a law firm owner, how should I know if what my agency is doing is working or not working in this new world we're living in?
Yeah. You always tell me, trust but verify.
Yes.
First off, ask them. Make sure that their answers make sense. Do some prompting by yourself. See what comes up. But realize that the metrics that we have historically tracked are becoming less and less relevant. I want to caveat this part of the conversation with SEO. Google still drives over 90% of searches. We're not seeing that clients are now getting, twice as many cases from AI as they were from SEO. It's in fact the opposite, right? SEO is still the overwhelming source of cases, but AI is climbing. So just be careful not to make too many knee-jerk reactions off of the bright and shiny things. You have to ask the questions and be very deliberate about the behaviors that you're taking and making sure that you're not impacting the cases that you're getting today. So putting that aside, right? The metrics that people have historically tracked and have decided to take action on have been rankings. Rankings are, while directionally, I would say valuable, are no longer the leading indicator that they once were. Absolutely not. I mean, 2 weeks ago, we had Google remove the ability for the rank trackers to even work beyond page 1, right? Unless they're doing some sort of like weird thing where they're like moving from page to page. But historically, rank trackers were able to like do a little thing in their search that would show 100 results, and they would grab all that so that they could tell you where you rank within those top 100 results. Google said, we're not allowing you to do that anymore. You can only do one page at a time, which is why all the rank trackers broke a couple weeks ago. So this is just me talking, right? This is the reality of the world that we're living in.
The challenge we run into as well as marketers and in this AI world is, for example, there's all these tools coming out to show, hey, we're going to give you reports on your AI visibility and how much you're showing up in the AI search results, which some of them might work pretty well and be directionally useful. But we ran our own tests in-house that I want John to talk through with a very large firm in Florida. And I got crazy results. So sometimes tools are great, but sometimes actually doing your own manual research gives you really great data and information on what to work on or where to go. So John, can you just talk about that little piece of research we did?
Yeah. So one of our clients came to us and said, and this is a very, very large client, big TV, billboard advertiser. They're everywhere in the state. So they were prompting and they were saying, why are we not seeing ourselves show up? So the first thing I did was ask them what they're prompting. Of course, like what they give me is probably not exactly what they're typing in, but I take it and I prompt it myself and I'm seeing them show up. So I tell them, right? What we've realized is that every time someone prompts, you're getting a different result. There are so many factors that are taken into account as to why. Of course, it depends on the platform you're using, the previous sessions that you've had, what it knows about you. I encourage everyone, go into ChatGPT, just literally ask it, what do you know about me? And see what it says. You'll fall off your chair. It also takes into account your location. So there's all of these factors, right? The uniqueness of it is something that we've been dealing with for a while in traditional search, right? Previous search history we knew was taken into account, location we knew was taken into account, but like it's a whole different ballgame now with all the data that's available. So we said, all right, you've got one thing, I've got something else. I'm going to put this theory to the test. I reached out to our team and I said, take this exact prompt. Within the next hour, anyone who was available to do so, and we got about 40 people who responded, they said that they would do it. I said, put this prompt in ChatGPT. I don't want you to go into any sort of incognito. I just want you to just go in and just put the prompt in. And then I want you to take this follow-up prompt, which effectively turned their prompts, their response into a PDF file. And then send me the PDF files. Okay? It grabbed, we got, I think, 38 respondents. And we took all of those results and I actually reanalyzed them. We threw them back into ChatGPT and I had it identify the similarities or lack of similarities between those 38 different responses. And the biggest takeaway was, to a very high statistical significance, none of the two were even nearly identical or similar.
Yeah, that was wild. Like the firm that we're discussing showed up the most across all of the searches in like the top 3 results, but the spattering of firms that showed up was wild. We had major competitors and we had nobodies. I say that nicely, but nobodies.
What was really interesting about this was some of the people who work on that client were the ones who didn't see that firm show up.
Yeah, they're constantly on that site.
Yes, and they're constantly on the site and they're constantly asking ChatGPT about that firm. And they knew that they worked on that client. ChatGPT knew that they worked on that client. So when they asked, the prompt response given was, well, why would I surface that firm for you? You already know of everything about them. Think about that. It's purposefully not surfacing things for you because it thinks that you just already know it because you've done so much research about that firm with that LLM already.
So I need to figure out how to train ChatGPT to recommend only the right things to my wife when she's buying me Christmas presents by fake searching things that I don't want.
Marc bot.
Yeah, it was very, very eye-opening and great exercise for us to do. And I challenge everyone that's listening to this to do it themselves with their team. Say, hey, this is the prompt we're running. This is the LLM we're using. So we're using ChatGPT. Everyone do it within the next hour and send the results back.
The time frame was important to me because I wanted to isolate like people doing it at different times of day as a variable. Like you try to control as much as you can with any experiment. But we had people all across the country, right? Different roles, responsibilities. And yeah, man, that was wild. Wild. If you and I are going to go on Google and we're going to search the same thing right now, like, okay, like we'll get maybe minor variants as long as it's not like a hyper localized keyword. It may get like a position or 2 different, but to get like that level of differentiation, it was amazing.
All right, let's move on to the last major shift this year has been link building. We've moved completely away from like huge volumes of links. I wouldn't say completely moved away. How are we thinking about link building differently now? For those who don't know, link building is the unsexiest part about SEO.
Don't tell that to a link builder.
Yes, they will agree.
This is just like SEO as a whole, right? When we're here talking about SEO, it means so many different things to us than it means to a law firm who hires an SEO agency and even to other SEO agencies. So again, I'll caveat, like when we're talking about link building, I want to talk to you about how we talk about link building and then maybe how others talk about link building. When we say link building, we're talking about real, organic, natural outreach that we're doing to other websites in an effort to get them to link back to resources that we have created for our clients, to generate actual links, like a clickable link that someone could get to your site. Now, are those links necessarily going to drive large amounts of traffic? No, they're being done because Google understands that the more sites that link to you, the higher they should be ranking you.
There's a lot of nuance to that statement he just said, but from a high level, simple concept, that is correct.
Yeah, and you want it to be as close of a nexus to your website as possible, right? So you don't want like a cooking blog to link out to you and, say that you're a website about cookies when you're a law firm. It has, the more contextually relevant that it is, the more valuable that link is. So that's how we look at it. And the way that we do it has always been create really, really great content, make it as statistic-driven, data-driven, unique as possible to that firm, and then just reach out. We'll find other websites and we'll just craft very specific emails to those websites in an effort to get them to share the resource, which is why we don't ever tell our clients, you're going to get 10 links a month, because we don't do what others do, which is link insertions where they're buying placements on websites, guest posts where they're paying for the right to write an article on someone else's website and insert links. We're not doing PBNs. We're not doing all of the nefarious stuff out there that people do to earn links. They're not earning them, they're buying them. So there's a very clear distinction here. So when we're talking about link building, we're talking about the first thing that I spoke about, which is earning your links, earning your references, earning your citations. So what has changed about this is that 2 big things. One is links now there's more opportunities to earn backlinks than there were before, because links can come in many, many different formats. So we have found an opportunity to increase brand visibility for our clients by getting them featured in the press, getting them featured on podcasts, getting them and their expertise to be showcased in some way somewhere else, which then earns a link.
Being a podcast guest, expert commentary on a news article that's featured on something topically relevant that happened in the city or whatever's going on, stuff like that.
Yeah. So there's just been more ways to earn links, but with the advent of AI, what we're starting to realize is that before, where we only wanted what was called a do follow link, like a special way that link had to be placed, now even a mention is important. You don't have to even have a link. Someone tagging you on social media, someone writing a post on Reddit that just references your firm without a link, like AI understands that that is your firm. So any opportunity that we could find for someone to just increase the brand perception and mention your firm coexisting to things that are related to your geography, your practice areas, your expertise, that is helping. It's helping SEO. It's helping AI visibility.
If you're listening to this and say, okay, how do I game Reddit and Instagram to get more mentions and links? Don't. That's not the right mindset. It's how do I actually derive value to my community to have them mention me on Instagram in a positive way, and what are the motions that I need to do as a firm to earn that trust and visibility where someone wants to take a picture with us, take a video with us, and tag us in a post.
It goes back to it's the same thing. We're getting very technical here, but at its core, it's just do great things and the good will come. Now, marketers will help amplify that, but you have to think about it, the sort of inverse of how people thought of it before, where it was hey, marketers, what do I need to do in order to get more business? Now it's, here, marketers, here are all the things that I'm doing that are great. Figure out what to do with that to help improve my visibility.
If you're listening and wondering how AI actually describes your firm, that's a good place to start, because the truth is SEO isn't about gaming a system anymore. It's about earning your future clients' trust and your community's trust. Let's land this plane. John, final closing comments for you.
God, I don't know when people are watching this, but take everything I say with a grain of salt if it's not within a week of when this thing actually goes out, because AI and SEO are moving so fast. So yeah, trust and validate.
This is a super fun one. We could have gone on easily for another hour. Can't wait to get this out. Thank you everyone for listening. If you like this content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share with anyone who you might think might find this valuable. And then let us know if there's future topics that you want us to cover. We love doing these sessions, just John and I, and we continue and plan to do more of these in the future.